ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामे नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। We reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, Verse 10. नम आत्म प्रदीपाय साक्षिणे परमात्मने नमो गिरां विदूराय मनसश्चेतसामपि। Atma Pradipaya. Atma Pradipaya means unto him who is self-effulgent or who gives enlightenment to living entities. Sakshine. He is the Sakshi, Paramatmane, and Super Soul. Giram Viduraya. Giram means by words. Viduraya, impossible to reach. Also by Manasas Chetasamapi. Also by mind and consciousness he cannot be reached. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Person of Godhead, the self-effulgent Super Soul, who is the witness in everyone's heart, who enlightens the individual soul and who cannot be reached by exercises of mind, words, or consciousness. Supreme Person of Godhead Krishna cannot be understood by the individual soul through mental, physical, or intellectual exercises. Mm. So Krishna cannot be understood by our mind, by our words, or by even intelligence. Krishna cannot be understood. It is by the grace of the Supreme Lord that the individual soul is enlightened. Mm. So only when Supreme Lord decides to enlighten a jiva can he understand Krishna. Of course, how does Krishna decide to enlighten a jiva? And though he is fully independent, he can do whatever he wants. Normally, he reciprocates the devotion of devotees. He sees how sincerely somebody is doing devotion, how much they want to understand him. Based on that, he reveals himself. So it's not a matter of knowledge. Many times we might read some things in Prabhupada's books, but we cannot understand. That is because, which means that at that point of time, still Krishna has not decided to reveal himself to that devotee. Doesn't mean that we have to give up, we have to keep trying, sincerely keep trying again and again and again, and someday, hopefully, we can't say for sure, hopefully Krishna will be pleased with us and he will reveal himself. That is why Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tatvatah doesn't mean an intellectual exercise. It's not a, it's not something that can be achieved by intelligence, by mind. It is only by humility, by devotion. When Krishna becomes pleased with a jiva, he will reveal secrets about himself. Of course, that most of the times happens through the spiritual master and other senior Vaishnavas. So sometimes we will be looking to, so there might be some question in our heart about something about Krishna. And we'll be wondering how to get this, how to understand this. Then suddenly Krishna reveals through some devotee, through some lecture, through some book, and sometimes himself through the heart. So this is a revealing process. And it is only the grace of Krishna. We cannot demand Krishna. Krishna, I've been doing all these services daily. Give your mercy. No, that won't work. Therefore, the Lord is described here as Atma Pradipa. The Lord is like the sun, which illuminates everything, and cannot be illuminated by anyone. Who can illuminate the sun? So, Lord is self-effulgent. At the same time, He enlightens the sincere soul. Therefore, see, if one is serious, I keep repeating these words: serious, sincere, serious, sincere, serious, sincere. Sometimes Prabhupada uses serious, sometimes he uses sincere, but it's the same mood. If one is serious about understanding the Supreme, one must receive enlightenment from Him. One must receive might mean multiple things, meaning we should not go elsewhere, and definitely He will receive. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's mental, physical, or intellectual powers. Hmm. I experienced this when I came into Krishna consciousness. I thought that I can understand Krishna by my intellect, by my intelligence. And it took me many years actually to even begin to understand Krishna. It's not easy to understand Krishna. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only when we engage in pure devotion can we understand Krishna. Even if we engage in mixed devotion, Krishna will not reveal himself because he's not interested in mixed devotion. He doesn't want mixed devotion. He's captured, conquered by pure devotion. And then he reveals secrets. Rahasyam, Hedaduttamam. Satvena pratilabhyaya naishkarmyena vipaschita nama kaivalyanathaya nirvana sukha samvide. Satvena, Prabhupada is translating as pure devotional service. Pratilabhyaya is achieved by pure devotion. Naishkarmyena means activity is not concerned with this material world, which is transcendental activities. Vipaschita is learned persons. Nama Kaivalyanathaya. He is the master of the Kaivalya might mean um, Nirvana or uh, Brahman. So he's the master of the transcendental world. Nirvana Sukha Samvide. So he's the bestower of happiness. Supreme Person of Godhead is realized by pure devotees who act in the transcendental existence of Bhakti Yoga. He is the bestower of uncontaminated happiness and is the master of the transcendental world. Therefore, I offer my respect unto him. Prabhupada I was hearing a lecture today morning. So Prabhupada was saying that getting this happiness is so easy, he was saying. He was saying it's so easy because if one simply chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he should experience happiness. But again, same problem. Devotees don't chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra properly. We have enthusiasm to do kirtan, but we don't have enthusiasm to do japa, which means that we are just being carried away by music as of now. If somebody does kirtan with the focus on the nama, then when he's chanting also his focus will be on the nama. And in such situations, those who hear actually will get affected because they are hearing pure nama. But if the focus is music, then it might give some temporary sense of happiness because of good music. But then we'll realize that such devotees don't develop taste for the holy name. Wow, it was amazing kirtan. Means what? It was fast generally. Kirtan is good means kirtan is fast. If kirtan is slow, kirtan is not good. Because we are in Rajas, we want Rajasic things. I keep seeing in our center. When I'm singing something, I want to slow it down as much as possible, and people who are playing Kartal want to speed it up as much as possible. Mm, because that's what they want. They want speed. But we should come to Satvena. To come to pure devotion, first we have to come to Sattva Guna, which means slow down. Slow down means not like ignorance, not like Tamoguna slow down, meaning sleep too much, don't do anything meaningful, not like that. Satvena means in Sattva Guna, which means that you will slow down so that you can concentrate properly on what you are doing, what devotional service you are doing. For example, if somebody is singing Samsara Dava, then the focus has to be on the words and the meaning. So when we are slowly singing, our focus will go towards the words and meaning and not towards the raga. And every sentence in all this, a whole morning program is so inspiring, so inspiring. We have to know the meaning and we have to sing with that absorption, which can happen only in Sattva Guna. So I see devotees sleeping during chanting, mm, which is very unfortunate. And I've been saying that as soon as we start next seva for Guru Puja and Darshanarthi and all sleep is gone instantly, like 1 second. Like it didn't exist at all. As soon as they keep the chanting bag that side, they're like fully active. Mm. So chanting has become like a what is that? Medicine to sleep. So unfortunate. And in spite of hearing so many things about this, also we don't give it importance. We just so indifferent towards our chanting. It feels so bad. Feels so bad. I keep wondering, saying that when will devotees realize, even after hearing repeatedly. But of course, those who hear attentively classes, I can see they are sincerely doing. They're trying sincerely to chant with full heart, begging for mercy. Those who don't do Shravanam, they just, for them, it's a painful process of 2 hours of chanting. Anyway, it's very feels bad. So, I was saying uncontaminated happiness. Prabhupada was saying simply by chanting and dancing, one can experience an uncontaminated happiness. And he says that Atma actually becomes pure. The Jiva becomes pure. And all anarthas are gone and he experiences happiness. But we don't see that happening in the lives of devotees. We don't see much of this. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Person of Godhead can be understood only by devotional service. Bhaktya mam avijanati yavanyaschasmi tattvataha. If one wants to know the Supreme Lord in truth, one must take to the activities of devotional service. These activities are called sattva or shuddha sattva. In material world, activities of goodness which are symptomatic of a pure brahmana are appreciated. But the activities of devotional service are shuddha sattva. In other words, they are on the transcendental platform, which means that they transcend even goodness. And only by devotional service can one understand Supreme, not by sattva guna. Sattva guna maybe makes it little more conducive to come in touch with devotees, to, yeah, it's just more favorable, we can say, but it's not any cause. It's not any cause. But devotional service is on the platform of Shuddha Sattva. Hmm. Devotional service is called Naishkarmya. Mere negation of material activity will not endure. Naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam. Unless one performs activities with reference to Krishna consciousness, cessation of material activities will not be helpful. Meaning somebody might stop material activities, but what is the use? If they don't come to Krishna, there's no use. It won't help. In hopes of achieving Naishkarmya, freedom from material action, many highly elevated sannyasis stopped their activities, yet they failed and returned to the material platform to act as materialistic persons. Aruhya krishena parampadam. Aruhya krishena parampadam. Anadrita yushmadangriyaha. They went to Brahman, but they didn't have anadrita, they didn't have adara, they didn't have respect. Yushmadangriyaha, for your lotus feet. Hmm. So, mm, no use just being liberated, so-called liberated from material world, material activities. All big, big sannyasis, they fell. And Prabhupada says they come down to the material world again to engage in social welfare work. Because Atma requires engagement. They couldn't figure out any higher engagement. And they stopped all material engagement without any spiritual engagement. So they went to Brahman. Then they got bored. What to do there? No activity. And then they come back again to start social welfare work. But once one is engaged in the spiritual activities of Bhakti Yoga, one does not fall down. Our Krishna consciousness movement is therefore an attempt to engage everyone always in spiritual activity, by which one becomes transcendental to material actions. Again, Prabhupada's statement that one is engaged in spiritual activities of Bhakti Yoga means not just externally, meaning not just by way of action, but by way of consciousness also, which is most important. Only if our consciousness is engaged in Bhakti Yoga will we not fall down. Only if our body is engaged in activities, it might not help. Still chances of falling down. Hmm. So first is to give yourself an opportunity to engage in spiritual activity instead of material activity. Second is to engage consciousness in spiritual activity instead of just body. Both are required. Then one becomes transcendental to material actions. Spiritual activities of Bhakti Marga, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, lead one to understand the Supreme Person of Godhead. Therefore, as stated here, Satvena Pratilabhyaya Naishkarmyena Vipashtita. Supreme Person of Godhead is realized by pure devotees who act in the transcendental existence of Bhakti Yoga. See now this Sanskrit, if somebody reads this Sanskrit, they can translate it like this. Literally I'm translating the words here. By the mode of goodness, one who is nishkarma, which means that he has given up material activities and he is learned, can understand the Supreme Lord. So these words, satvena means by material goodness, naishkarmena means by giving up material activities, vipaschita means learned person, pratilabhyaya, he can achieve or he can understand the personality of Godhead. So, which is why Sanskrit is just knowing Sanskrit is of no use. We have to know what the author is speaking, what is the mood, and the mood will be consistent across multiple verses. Mm. If Krishna was could be got by just sattva guna, then there wouldn't have been any need to say Naishka Traigunya Vishaveda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Krishna wouldn't have said saying that transcend the modes. He would have said then come to sattva guna. So like this we have to correlate. So sometimes when you get stuck with sentences like this saying that, oh, what is this? This statement is saying sattva. But then okay, Bhagavad Gita Krishna is saying transcend the modes. Which means here sattva means Shuddha Sattva. So this is how we understand Shastra. So Prabhupada, that is why Prabhupada's purports are important. It very clearly explains the crux. He's saying it's only by pure devotees who act in pure devotion can Krishna be realized. Gopala Tapani Upanishad says, Bhakti Rasya Bhajanam Tad Iha Mutropadhi Nairasye Naivam Shumin Amushmin Manasa Kalpanam Etadevacha Naishkarmyam. This is the definition of Naishkarmya. One acts in Naishkarmya when he fully engages in Krishna conscious activity. Prabhupada doesn't want to give literal meanings, so he just gives the essence. He says Naishkarmya means engaging in fully Krishna conscious activities without material desires to enjoy. Either here or in the upper planetary systems, in the present life or in the future life. without material desires to enjoy. Uh, like we've discussed this before, some devotees have gross material desires, like clothes, possession, wealth, vehicle, this, that, and all that. Gross. Some have subtle, or some might have not so gross, but still gross, like food, or yeah, something which are not very expensive, but still there are desires. Uh, then there are subtle in the mind. Then Labh Puja Pratishtha. Somebody wants a position, somebody wants to retain a position, somebody wants fame, somebody wants to be appreciated. Mm. So all these are also different ways to get material enjoyment. So this is not pure devotion. This is not pure devotion. Pure devotion is simply for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. That's all. We, the jiva, we should not be in the picture at all. That is pure devotion. Anya vilashita shunyam. When one is freed from all contamination and he acts in devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master. See, this is very important. If we don't act under the direction of the spiritual master, then we will act whimsically. If we are not under some authority, we will act whimsically. We need to be controlled. We need to be directed. We need to be instructed. And unfortunately, devotees don't like being controlled, don't like being instructed, don't like being directed. So then they will act whimsically. Without direction of spiritual master, we cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness. Mm. So when one is freed from all contamination and acts in devotional service, then he is on the platform of Naishkarma. Naishkarma just means that activities which are not connected to this material world, stopping activities connected to the material world, but Naishkarma also means engaging in activities connected with the spiritual world, which is devotional service. By such transcendental devotional service, the Lord is served. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Mm. So the focus of this verse is Bhakti Yoga. Mm. And when one engages in Bhakti Yoga, Krishna bestows uncontaminated happiness. Again, Brahmananda, the happiness of merging into Brahman is nothing compared to the bliss in transcendental loving service of Krishna. Mm. Okay. Namashantaya Ghoraya, Mudhaya Gunadharmine, Mudhaya, Gunadharmine. Accepts different qualities, okay. Nirvisheshaya Samyaya, Namo Gnanaghanaya cha. Very, very confusing verses. Namashantaya. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Vasudeva, who is all pervading. Hmm. Okay, Prabhupada has added all pervading. To the Lord's fierce forms, Ghoraya, fierce forms as Lord Narsimadev. To the Lord's form as animal, Varadev. Then to Lord Dattatreya, who preached impersonalism. To Lord Buddha and to all other incarnations, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who is Nirvishesha, who has no material qualities, but who accepts the three qualities goodness, passion, ignorance within this material world. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto the impersonal Brahman effulgence. In the previous verses, it has been described that although the Supreme Lord has no material form, he accepts innumerable forms to favor his devotees and kill the demons. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many incarnations of the Supreme Lord that they are like waters of a river. The waves of a river flow incessantly and no one can count How many waves there are. Similarly, no one can calculate when and how the different incarnations of the Lord appear according to the necessities of time, place, candidates. The Lord appears perpetually. Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya. In the material world, there's always the possibility of deviation from Krishna consciousness. And therefore, Krishna and his devotees always act in various forms to curb such godlessness. Uh, so, deviation from Krishna consciousness means originally there was Krishna consciousness, and then atheism and all other forms of deviations come in. Similarly, we can see Prabhupada created Institute for Pure Devotion, and we are seeing mixed devotion proliferate, which is a deviation. Mm. And then again, Krishna has to send somebody to restore. Otherwise, how will this run for 10,000 years? Right? It's not going to run for 10,000 years. In 100 or years only, we have done sufficient damage. Uh, so, definitely looks like somebody will have to come again to re-establish pure devotion. Even impersonalists who stress the knowledge feature of the Supreme Person of Godhead want to merge in the effulgence of the Lord. Therefore, here the word Gnana Ghanaya indicates that for atheists who disbelieve in the form and existence of the Lord, all these various incarnations appear. So, why do these incarnations appear? Because these atheists are impersonalists. They think that Lord doesn't have form. Hmm. So, prove to them that no, no, I have form. Krishna appears in these incarnations. That's another reason. Since the Lord comes to teach in so many forms, no one can say that there is no God. The word Gnana Ghanaya is especially used here to refer to those whose knowledge has been solidified by dint of their searching for the Lord through speculative philosophical understanding. Gnanis Bhunam Janmanam Ante Gnanavan Mam Prapadyate. Bhunam Janmanam Ante. After many, many pious births, Vasudeva Sarvam. Vasudeva is everything. Samatma Sudurlabha. Because Gnani is generally go and get stuck in this Nirakara knowledge. They don't come to Vasudeva. So that soul is very rare. And then, of course, then there are karmis who are anyway like stuck in this material world. And yogis who are bothered about Ashta Siddhi. Gnanis are bothered about just speculating. It's only devotees who directly come to the platform. Oh, yes, Krishna is here, I will serve him. So simple. And all these other paths, they waste so many thousands of millions of lifetimes. And they don't come to Krishna at all. Agnani attains this stage after many, many births. Therefore, the word Gnana Ganaya is used here. Ghana means concentrated. It's like, making sweet rice. It becomes concentrated. Like that, they've got Gnana. For multiple lifetimes, finally they figured, oh, the Supreme Lord I was searching for is actually Krishna, Vasudeva. The word Shantaya indicates that Lord Vasudeva is situated in everyone's heart, but does not act with the living entity. Impersonalist Gnanis realize Vasudeva when they are fully mature in knowledge. Otherwise, they can't realize. Kshetrajnaya namastubhyam sarvadhyakshaya sakshine purushyatma mulaya mula prakritaye namaha. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the super soul, the superintendent of everything and the witness of all that occurs. You are the supreme person, the origin of material nature and of the total material energy. You are also the owner of the material body. See, he is the owner of the material body. Therefore, you are the supreme complete. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Now, why should we take care of our material body? To engage it in devotional service. Why? Because it is the property of the Supreme Lord. Guru and Krishna own our body. So we don't have the right to ill-treat it or not take required care, not more nor less. We should not be too bothered about the body. At the same time, we should not be so much negligent that we can't even do our devotional activities. Because he is the owner of our body. Bhagavad Gita Lord says, Kshetragnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. O sign of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. Every one of us is thinking, I am this body or this is my body. But actually, the truth is different. Our bodies are given to us by the Supreme Proprietor. Living entity who is also Kshetragna or the knower of the body is not the body's only proprietor. The actual proprietor is Supreme Person of Godhead, who is the Supreme Kshetragna. For example, we may rent and occupy a house, but actually the owner of the house is the landlord. Similarly, we may be allotted a certain type of body as a facility with which to enjoy this material world, but the actual proprietor of the body is the Supreme Lord. He is called Sarvadhyaksha because everything in the material world works under his supervision. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, wherein Lord says, Maya Dhyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacharam. This material nature working under my direction is producing all moving and unmoving beings. From Prakriti or material nature comes so many varieties of living entities, including aquatics, plants, trees, insects, birds, animals, human beings, and demigods. Prakriti is mother, Supreme Lord is the father. Prakriti can give us material bodies, but as spirit souls, we are parts and parcels of Supreme Lord. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. The living entity being part and parcel of God is not a product of this material world. Therefore, the Lord is described in this verse as Atma Mula. He is the original source of everything. He is the seed of all existence. Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam. Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Bija Pradapita. Plants, trees, insects, aquatics, demigods, beasts, birds, and all other living entities are sons or parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. But because they are struggling with different mentalities, they have been given different types of bodies. Manasashtani, Indriyani, Prakritisthani, Karshati. Karshati means struggle. Uh, we are struggling in this body, in this material world. And thus they become sons of Prakriti or material nature, which is impregnated by the Supreme Person of Godhead. Every living entity in this material world is struggling for existence. And the only salvation or relief from the cycle of birth and death in the evolutionary process is full surrender. This is indicated by the word Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. Again, this full surrender. Yesterday we were discussing the helplessness, a feeling of helplessness completes this process of surrender. We should feel helpless in this material world. Helpless, worthless. Everything that material is will not agree. Saying it is, some people tell me, self-respect. Shouldn't we have self-respect, Prabhu? Hmm? Hmm. What is self-respect? Respect for what? If we want to give self-respect, then we have to respect everybody because self means Atma. Then we respect everybody. But if self is body, why there should be any respect? Body is temporary, body is permanent, body is not ours. Position of the body is also not given to is not got by us. We are maybe one of the reasons for that. That's all. So there is no reason to be proud to all these mundane, so-called, motivational speakers speak about all this self-respect, all this self, but they don't know what the self actually means. In Vaishnavism, it's the completely opposite. We should not have self-respect. We should consider ourselves useless, worthless, helpless. Completely opposite materialists. And that is why it takes time. It takes so much time to just come to this simple mood of Trinadapi Sunicana. It's so simple. But our mind, our consciousness so much fully drowned in some sense of importance about ourselves. We have some sense of importance. What it is, if you sit and think, we'll realize that actually there is nothing. There's nothing of importance. in our life. Whatever it is, it will be very tiny compared to so many other otherwise so-called great human beings. So what is the point? Hmm. So constantly when we get beaten up by uh, dint of our karma phala, then we can understand these things. Repeated failures, then we can understand this. Oh, I'm useless, I'm worthless. Then we can develop humility, saying that okay, see, I'm totally dependent on the Supreme Lord. It's only His mercy that my life is going on. When we come to actually accepting this state, which is anyway the reality, but people don't want to accept it because they want to think karmanyeva aham, what is that? Ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Everybody wants to think that they are the doers. So they can't see the reality, but the reality is that we are not the doers. We're just one of the causes of action. That's all. Mm. So this we have to remember constantly. We keep forgetting because we get so many instructions in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Sometimes we get confused. Which one is more important? Mm. So we should write down. Topmost instruction is to become humble. And I've told this multiple times. Humility means, Prabhupada writes, saying willingness to follow instructions. That is humility. Because one who is humble, servant, think about a servant. A servant simply says, okay, yes, 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 master, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. He will simply do whatever the master says. So he is humble. Who is not humble? Who don't want to follow instructions? They are not humble. That's why Prabhupada says that humility means wanting to follow instructions. Mm. We can see devotees who are externally humble, but internally they are very stubborn. They have very fixed thought process. They don't want to accept what acharyas are saying. What is the use of this external humility? Worthless. It's better to be externally maybe not so humble, but willing to follow instructions. Of course, the best is external and internal humility. To be externally also humble and to also be willing to follow instructions. But definitely, simple external humility is just a show. It's cheating. Mm. We will come to somebody and say, Prabhu, please consider me as your servant. Okay. Okay, do this. No, no, Prabhu, I can't do this. Then what is that point? What is that point of being just externally, showily humble? Immediate next moment, such people will mm, contradict their own submission of being a servant by not wanting to follow instructions. So it's all useless. And I'm personally very afraid of such people, who are externally humble but internally they are completely different. It's better to deal with some difficult people, but who are very committed and sincere and serious. Better to deal with such people than to deal with the hypocrites who say something, do something else. Anyway, okay, so I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions, we can discuss.
Hare
Any
Krishna,
question?
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, I also heard from you. I mean, you were reading some lectures a couple of days back. So
Mm.
Brahma Jyoti is also referred as Brahma Loka, right? I also read
Brahman.
them. Huh. So
Mhm.
in Brahma Loka we have Brahma. Why are we referring
No, no,
Brahma
not
Jyoti?
Brahma. It is Brahman. There are
Acha, acha,
two.
acha.
There is Brahman and Brahma.
Okay,
Brahma is
okay.
Lord Brahma.
Ha, ha,
Brahma
ha.
Loka is called both Lord Brahma's Loka is also called Brahma Loka, and Brahman's Loka is also called Brahma Loka. Brahma Jyoti is also called Brahma Loka.
Okay, okay. I was a bit confused while
Yeah.
reading couple
Okay.
of days back, and again, I also heard from the lectures. I mean, from the
Yeah.
purports you were reading. Okay, I
Yes.
got it clarified. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Good. Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna.
when they fall down from the Brahma Jyoti, because they have
Mm.
no duty to this thing. Prabhu, when they fall down, they come back as human beings, or like, because see, most of the demons are being killed by the Lord, so they are in the Brahma Jyoti, or the whoever goes up there,
Correct.
they have a
Yeah.
lot, they have done a lot of punya, or like this, so they're there. So when they come back, Prabhu, they come back as elevated human beings, because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
do a lot of
yeah,
philanthropic work and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that.
Apparently, that's what Prabhupada says.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, can I share something, please?
Yeah, yeah. Please, please. Yeah.
Prabhu, you said, like Sukruti, only by the grace of Lord can you understand Krishna.
Yeah.
I just talk about my journey. Prabhu,
Yeah.
like as a young girl, like we were so much into, Sai Baba, my father, his friends, and somehow I used to not, go into it. So
Mm-hmm.
when we got when I mean, I don't know why I should say I'm not going to cover my head, and like I used to revolt, and stubborn girl. Then I
Mm-hmm.
got into Ramnam. So, and then
Mm-hmm.
when I got, that's one of, it's not a parampara, this thing, but the head of it was called, he was called, the sadhu was called Pitaji. I was initiated, and I used to chant Ram Ram on
Mm-hmm.
woolen beads.
Mm-hmm.
And then Prabhu, like, like all, most of us who, आज इस मंदिर में, आज उस मंदिर में, आज इस saint के, and there's a very famous Mataji, Sindhi Mataji, Sharda Mataji, whose mother used to be in Vrindavan, and a lot of visiting saints used to come. So, like, with the grace of Lord, we had a lot of privilege, so we used to get a chance to meet these saints. So they used to
Mm-hmm.
tell me, क्या क्या चाहिए बेटा, क्या चाहिए? तो मैंने कहते नहीं, मेरे को कुछ नहीं चाहिए, मेरे को भक्ति दीजिएगा. I don't know why, but like I never
Jai.
used to understand what bhakti was, but
Mm-hmm.
I was a non-veg eater, and
Mm-hmm.
but and I like, but so he'll say, he used to look blank at me. And then he said, नहीं आपको कुछ पूछना है तो पूछो. Then I asked him, प्रभु ये राम जी क्यों हिरण के पीछे गए मारने के लिए?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
So प्रभु 15 minutes he gave me a lecture. हिरण के पेट में ये है, हिरण के पेट में वो है, तुम पढ़े लिखे लोग, तुम you don't want to listen, तुम लोग अपना सोचते हो. 15 minutes I paid obeisances and came back confused.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Prabhu, like with the grace of God. I mean, we used to keep visiting the ISKCON hill, and
Mm-hmm.
many times Prananam used to tell me, why don't you get initiated, Mataji? He used to tell my husband, Maharaj, chalo na, aap beer baad mein peena, pehle mandir chalo, fir aake pee lena. Then the beer
Mm-hmm.
stopped, everything stopped. We used to be at the temple. One
Mm-hmm.
day I was just Krishna's privilege, like Madhu Pandit, and they all used to be around. Like I was just walking down a classroom, and Guru Maharaj was giving a lecture,
Jai.
and would with the what it was. He says Krishna is he's a Vaishnav, he's a this thing, and so he does not take any instrument. He's just playing with the cowherd boys. He's a Vaishnava, so
Vaishya.
sorry, the Vaishya.
Vaishya.
So Vaishya, so he's with the cowherd boys. He's there's there is he's playing with the gopas, the gopis. He's with milk, he's with butter and all that. Then he said, Ramji is a Kshatriya, so he can take the instruments, he can kill.
Mm.
And not that like Ramji knew. So when then he gave the example of the knife. The doctor needs a knife, and how and 5 minutes exactly, I heard what I wanted to, and my journey to Krishna conscious began.
Jai.
This is what this. Prabhu. Sometimes you don't know how Sukruti comes in, and I mean, unfortunately or fortunately, I mean, in these years, I should, the effort, now the effort is on my side, which I don't put in a lot. I'm trying to, but I all the time fail. So we all here who are assembled here, the Sukritis come and take a lesson from my life. Don't waste your time. Whenever
Jai.
you get the opportunity, I got an opportunity to serve Guru Maharaj so much, but I did not understand the importance of it. I
Mm.
now when I see him more, I want to, my body like I'm not able to do it. So
Mm.
Mataji and Prabhuji, this is my request to you. Aboard the bus when it is there. Don't wait. Don't waste your
Mm.
time.
Jai.
Learn from my life.
Jai.
Life.
Jai.
Learn it from me. Once
Jai.
the bus is missed, you'll never get it. I mean, doing renunciation like you may be very difficult, but you can always start. Always start. So please,
Jai.
catch hold of Padmanarayan's feet tightly, and this is the right path. Don't get into people like me. And please, please, I'm telling you out
Hold,
of experience, do
hold
it.
on to your,
Hare Krishna.
hold on to
Hare Krishna.
all your Guru Maharaj lotus
Yes,
feet. Don't
Prabhu,
hold
it
on to
is.
anybody.
It is, yes. But
Jai.
then you should
Okay.
do it. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I lack it. So I'm not a good example. That is why I'm saying I should be like you.
Yeah.
I'm not a good example, Prabhu.
Yeah.
And this is exactly how I don't know why Krishna has given me is given me all the mercy. I have to encash it. So
Yeah.
Mataji's and Prabhuji's, प्रभु का पैर मत छोड़ना और टाइम अपना मेरी तरह वेस्ट मत करना. Please catch on. Please don't miss the bus. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhu, I just got
Hare
carried
Krishna.
away.
Okay. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
Mataji,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we'll stop here. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगद्गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, समवेत गौरव भक्तवृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।